Sitting down in this canoe. Ah, beautiful.
Ready to roll?
Yeah. We're good.
Hang on, let me get in.
Yeah. All right. And we're off. And here we go. Are we a little bit heavy on the left side?
No, I don't think so.
Feels like it.
Yeah?
A little bit. All right, so.
Oh, and here comes the wind.
Yeah, of course. Here we go. Off on our.
Where's your line? How far out?
Ah, we're good.
We're good?
So we're just heading from Saskatchewan to Ep1 is the destination in mind. We'll see how far we get in 3 or 4 nights. If we get close by Sunday, we'll just carry on to Ep1 on Monday. Hopefully we can get to Ep1 by Sunday evening though. But it's all going to be dependent on wind. We are on the prairies and it tends to get windy. So if it does, hopefully it works in our favor. This morning it looks like it's going to be a bit of a headwind. So we'll see, but we got a pretty strong current. As you can see, on the other camera angle. Against the shore. How fast I go. Yeah, I'd say somewhere in that ballpark, 7, 8. mama and a papa and 3 little ones. Oh yeah, they're quick little buggers. Yep.
That's mama there, eh?
Where is mama?
Mama's back
Just,
there with the little
oh yeah, she doesn't leave them. Against the shore, how fast we're going.
I think we're doing about 8 mark.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere in that ballpark, 7, 8. Sorry, but
Look at the little ones there.
oh yeah, yeah.
There we go.
There's a mama and a papa and 3 little ones.
Geez, can those little ones go, eh?
Oh yeah, they're quick little buggers. Yep.
Griz just took off. That's mama there, eh?
Where is mama?
Oh, mama's back there with the little
Oh yeah, she doesn't leave them.
We're a little lower in the water.
Hey?
Said we're a little lower in the water than.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I think we probably got 150 pounds a gear. You think?
Yeah, third person.
Huh?
A third person.
Yeah.
Watch that wind.
We're right into it, eh? Of course.
Stay as close to the shore as you can, Mark, so we can get out of that wind. Because it's kind of crossing over here, eh?
Yeah.
Just around that corner, not going to make any difference.
The water's not as cold as I thought it would be. So yeah, anyways, we're on the South Saskatchewan River, just in the outskirts of Saskatoon, and this river plays a huge role in Saskatchewan's history. A lot of major historical events happened along this river. Louis Riel Rebellion, Battle of Batoche, a lot of forts and such, 60, 70, 80 kilometers up the river. I'll point that out when we get past it. So it's, yeah, it should be an interesting trip. Been wanting to do this trip really since I was a kid. I always sort of dreamt of paddling Saskatchewan, the Nipawin. And now at 48, here we are. And I get to do it with my good buddy Lionel. Lionel, say hello.
Hello.
I met Lionel, shit, when was that? 90, 98, 99?
You're 99.
99? We both worked in corrections, just over the hill here, back there a little ways. Oh, no little ones for these two yet. Maybe they're on their way. little breezy, eh, Lionel?
It's gonna get easier.
But even if you look at the shore, it hasn't slowed us down much. We've still got a pretty decent clip. Alright, we'll come back at you later. Hey folks, well here we are. About, you think we've done 10K or a little more? Probably more than that.
Maybe.
Judging by the map, probably, I think we're probably close to 20 now.
20K?
Well, how far is Martinsville from Saskatoon?
Well, 18 by highway.
Yeah, so we've gone, yeah, probably 18. It's between 16 and 18. And we're just coming up to a place called Cathedral Bluffs, a little community just outside Saskatoon. I'll see if we can turn you around here a little bit and get another view. So that's Cathedral Bluffs, just up over there on the ridge. So depending which direction on the river we're going, we're either got a headwind or we're quite sheltered because of course the bank is quite high, as you can see. So once we make this corner, for instance, it'll be nice and calm again. And it sure is nice when we get those spots. Although the wind isn't terribly strong. What do you figure, Lionel?
It's okay. I mean,
10 to 20?
yeah, 15 miles an hour, something like that.
It's a little gusty too. But still making good time. As you can see by the shore, give you a little perspective on speed. Probably doing about 6 to 7 kilometers an hour at the moment. Big family of geese. But yeah, I mean, weather-wise, all things considered, it's an absolutely beautiful day. Not too hot. It's probably 12, 13, 14 degrees right now. In there somewhere anyway.
Be like,
Huh?
that would be like 50, 55 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's beautiful. But I tell you, we got around one of the corners there. You couldn't see town, you couldn't hear town, you couldn't smell town. And it was like instant decompression from the stressors of life, which is why these activities are so addicting. Just that sense of relaxing and being out in nature, not around people. Except Lionel, he's alright.
I'm people.
He's a people, but he's alright. So I was talking to Lionel there earlier about some river trips that we need to make. And one of them on my bucket list is the Yukon. And Lionel sort of chuckled at that one. But I think I can convince him maybe next summer. And then I mentioned the Mississippi. I'd love to do that one too. And he chuckled even more at that one. But we'll see. Power of persuasion. We'll see how this trip goes and we'll get him addicted. But we have to do, later this summer, we're going to do the gray owl trip. I don't know if folks around here are familiar with gray owl. I'm not sure if anyone else is, but just do a quick Google search on gray owl's cabin, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
I think his real name is Charlie Delaney.
Delaney?
I think so.
Yeah, he was actually...
an Englishman.
yeah, he wasn't even a native, was he?
Nope. Looked like it.
He tried to look like one, yeah.
Had a native wife. And
Yeah. Basically, oh, he's a trapper, wasn't he?
yeah.
Trapper, homesteader type, just settled in the bush north of Prince Albert in what is now the Waskesiu National Park in north central, I guess even central, it's not even that north, all things being equal.
No, it's not even in the north part of Saskatchewan.
So for those who don't know, which even a lot of Canadians don't, they just think Saskatchewan is flat prairie without forest. 2/3 of the province is forest. The Canadian Shield, the boreal forest, runs right through, of course, Saskatchewan. Like I said, 2/3 of the province. Very much like your northern Ontario. It does get fairly rocky. It's not quite as hilly as a lot of northern Ontario, but lots of white water, lots of that kind of activity, lots of rivers and lakes. I don't know how many lakes do we got in Saskatchewan. What do they say? Like 100,000?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like an incredible amount. And so yeah, we're going to take a run on the Churchill River. It's a whole system of rivers, lakes that goes right through the whole, right across the province. Again, coming from Alberta, heading right towards, well, right to the Hudson as well. And into, I think you can actually go right through the Churchill to Winnipeg Lake, can't you? Lake Winnipeg, Lionel?
Well, probably should be.
I think the northern tip of Lake Winnipeg, I think, is where you can get to. And then, of course, it all just really just keeps going to the Hudson Bay. So we're going to take a trip up there from a place called Pachinak, and we're going to paddle about a week, I think, to Pine House. we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Maybe we'll even plan it to go right to Mississippi. But we'll have to play that one by ear. So that's what's on the schedule for this year. And we'll see in the fall. Maybe I can squeeze in another trip. Maybe from Outlook to Saskatoon or North Battleford to Saskatoon or something. So lots coming up. And then of course we get into hunting season. See what we can do there. I haven't used my bow yet, Lionel.
You haven't shot anything with your SKS either.
No, not even a target. I'm trying not to tell Trudeau that I have an SKS. Buggers. It's interesting, this river, it's really hard to see currents, but when you get into one you can sure feel it. It's like you're walking on a paved path and all of a sudden you hit some black ice. It's the same sort of sensation. It just sort of takes you. So you have to kind of, even though it's real easy paddling, you still gotta be on the ball or you end up sideways pretty quick. And my co-pilot's got to be paying attention because there are rocks from time to time. And this river, of course, is known for sandbars. We're at a good time of year. It's really high this year, or at this time of year. So sandbars shouldn't really be an issue for us, but still got to pay attention. But yeah, it's pretty gorgeous day. Like I said, we're out of the wind now, and
close enough to the bank to be out of the wind.
yeah, absolutely. The wind's basically going over top of us now.
Look, there's a gate there.
Yeah, I see it too. So this camera has a gimbal basically inside, Lionel, for the inside lens.
Yeah.
So a lot of this that we're, bobbing around,
Yeah.
It covers it off pretty well.
Was that right?
Yeah, it's really good stabilizer.
Look at there's someone else's
Pump.
I was thinking raft.
Oh. So we should be getting fairly close to this Hutterite colony on the right. A little ways yet. Or just to the right of us right now. I'm not sure what bend we're at, but judging by this map, we should be at just passing the Hutterite colony on the right. If I'm got my bearings. I got to rearrange just a little bit here again, Lionel. I got to stretch my legs. That's better. Oh, yeah.
Done fucking around?
Not quite. Let me get this rod out of the way too. All right, buddy. Take a puff, have a drink.
There should be a little bit of a rock there.
Yeah, gorgeous day. Yeah, it looks like there's probably something under there.
I wonder how far it is. It can't be that far.
No,
It can't be any more than about 2 feet.
you wouldn't think.
Fucking wind.
The what?
Just the wind just hits you. And I don't know if you're feeling the wind as much as I am.
No, probably not. I'm just gonna tuck my phone away here too. I'll be with you in a minute, one. Doing a bang up job though. Alright, there's that. That's good. Drink of water. Do you remember which bag my water bladder went in? I think it's in the kitchen.
I think it's in the kitchen bucket.
Yeah. I'll have to grab it when we stop. So we filled up our water before we left.
Hey?
I'm talking to the camera, Lionel.
Oh.
So we filled up our bottles before we left, city water. And once we're done these, then it's down to river water. But of course we both have filter systems. And I mine's a big bladder. You just scoop up the water and it has a filter in it and a spout in the bottom. Just fill her up. And then I have, it's crystal clear, but then I have those Mio water flavor things. And spruce it up with a little grape flavor. I think I got some orange tang just to give it a little bit of flavor. But we're on river water from here on in. You wouldn't want to drink this water without filtering it.
Especially down from the big city.
Especially down from the city. That's right. Plus these Hutterite colonies, Lionel.
Oh yeah. Well, not as bad as the city.
Well, they dump a lot of shit in there. Literally. Yeah. I'm paddling now, Lionel's talking. You can take a break. So we got about 150 pounds of gear, I would say, in there. I got my pack with an extra change of clothes, another little dry bag full of warm clothes. I got my rain gear. Got a couple of hatchets, a couple of hand saws, little lawn chair, the shotgun. Yeah, one of those that little lawn chair thingy I got just on the side of my pack. And of course, extra batteries and
food for 8 days.
Fishing license, and then we got a couple of barrels. What is food that Lionel thinks we have enough to last for 2 weeks? But better to have more food than you need than less. But we got a couple of steaks we'll probably do tonight, and then we got some sausages we can do one night. And then we got some pastas for dinner. I bought a couple of dehydrated packs of Cabela's to give them a try. We got some bacon, we got some eggs, we got some hash browns, oatmeal,
Fish.
and we're gonna catch some fish, most likely. So hopefully we'll have a fish fry one of these nights. And a bunch of beef jerky, some nuts, trail mix, that sort of thing. And then we have a dry pack that has, of course, our tents. We're being responsible and social distancing. Yeah, that one's not moving. It's got a target right on it.
Yeah, I know. Very easy one to get.
Let's have a look here. These folks might want to see that too. I don't know if you guys can see that deer in the woods, but it's somebody's bow targets. One of them is a deer with some antlers on it. And yeah, so in the dry pack we got a couple of tents. We got our sleeping bags, our sleeping mats, and a couple of tarps. And Lionel's got a change of clothes in that one as well.
Oh, we got company.
Oh, yeah.
Company on the South Saskatchewan.
Are they on it, or is it just at a dock?
There's a nice little landing area.
Yeah, that is nice, yep. So, and then I got my camera gear and shotgun. Gotta have a bang stick just for in the event that Lionel gets unruly. Nah, just you never know with once you get a little further out north. Of course, bears might be hungry and little too cozy for comfort. And then we also have cougars around here. They generally leave people alone our size, but you never know. So we brought the bang stick just in case. Lionel's got some bear spray along with him as well. And yeah, that's about it. Lionel's pack, my pack, dry pack, 2 barrels, and another bag I got behind me, my camera equipment, and these hard cases. Nanook, Canadian made. Buy Canadian, folks. Buy Canadian and buy local. Enough of this extreme globalization. Support your local retail. Support local products. Let's start manufacturing again. And of course our fishing rods. And that's it. What's that?
That's it. You've been rattling for half an hour. And that's it.
Well, we weren't too efficient in our packing. We'll just say that.
And that's it.
Huh?
And that's it.
Well,
I think we have enough.
the beauty.
Where are you off to there, bud?
Sorry, I was directing film here too.
Oh,
Gotta find that balance. My tripod is giving me dog lips here. There. Yeah, we weren't too efficient in our packing, but there's no portages on this trip. Other than maybe if we get to Nipawin. But my guess is by the time we get to Nipawin, if we do, we're gonna be pretty tuckered. Yeah.
nice little spot, eh?
Yeah. Oh, nice spot for a morning coffee.
Got some comfort fire pit.
Yep.
Swap out boats.
You want to trade?
That's great.
You must block a lot of the wind for me because I don't get it.
Oh,
I mean,
get the gust just blasting.
I know I can feel what you're talking about, but I don't get it like you do.
Yeah, we're going to be under too long.
Yeah. Yeah, after we get around that bend and start going right, then the Hutterite colony we'll see. I think I figured out where we are on this map. Switch. Yeah, that's a nice riverboat.
That's the perfect.
Yep.
Look at that big motor in that rig.
That thing would fly.
Fuck,
Uh-huh.
that's crazy big.
That thing would fly. As light as that boat is.
Yeah. See, this could be Cathedral Bluff here.
No, we're past that, man. I don't know what they call this place, but all right. Anyways, that's it for now. See you in a little while.